Okay. Hi, it's me, Torey Cole, and you're listening to me on Chanel in the City with my girl, Chanel Omari, the best girl in the world. And you're so lucky listening to her and to me today.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Chanel in the City on iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Chanel Omari, and I have a fantastic, actually one of my favorite people in life, guest today on the podcast. You are going to love her, Torey Cole. She is a New York City-based comedian, probably one of the best comedians, obviously, in the world. She's so funny, and she's an amazing writer. She hosts Tori's Stupid Podcast, which you can catch an episode of me on it and a lot of big comedians as well. Has toured nationally as a feature act, opening for comedians including Troy Bond, Natalie Cuomo, Emma Willman, and Ian Lara. Tori also performs regularly at the top clubs in New York City, which, by the way, I could tell you is really hard. Broadway Comedy Club and Greenwich Village Comedy Club all the time. And she produces her fantastic monthly show called School Night at the Stand. Please help me welcome my good friend. She's kind, she's beautiful, she's brilliant, she's driven, she's funny.
Oh my
Torey Cole, everyone. Torey
Wow.
Cole.
Chanel, that is such an intro. Thank you so much. That I'm like, me? What? Thank
What
you.
a name.
You're
What a
too
beautiful
much.
person. I really want to say to my audience and everyone, like, we've known each other in the comedy industry, but then we formally met
Mhm.
finally at Corinne Fisher. Shout out to Corinne Fisher, who brings people together at her birthday party. And I'm just like, when people talk about comedians and people on and off stage, you never know if it's real. And it's like, you are just such an amazing person on and off stage. And I just want people to know these are the kind of people should invest in, you know?
Well, that means the world. And honestly, it was such a drunk girl in the bathroom moment when we met outside of the bar, just like Chanel, Tori, what? How have we not actually been together in real life? Because I was saying how I've seen your posters all over, working at the club at Broadway. So I've known of your name since back when I started back up after the pandemic in 2021 when I worked the door. So I always saw your face everywhere. So I always knew who you were. And then I was like, oh my God. And it was like, it was almost like fireworks went off when we met. So
It was.
it
That's
it literally, and I'm just like, thank God we finally connected, and now we're, hitting the ground running, just working together. I had you on my podcast,
I'm
which
so excited, by the way, for that. You guys have to, I want everyone to tune in to that as well because we're going to do it back to back. And it was
yeah,
such a funny episode. You got
it
to know a
was.
lot about me too. I did a lot of exclusives for you. Like a
You
lot of
really
people.
did, which was exclusive for me only because of the way I produced my own podcast here in my apartment, and somehow did not hit record on the camera. So that was quite an epic miss. You and I were just having so much fun catching up that my brain left my body, and yeah, but I did capture a good chunk, and I did a little intro for it. But I'll have to have you back on. And like you were saying, I gotta start a Patreon because you gave me some juicy back end details that were so interesting that I'm so lucky to have heard, but no one else have, and they
I
have
know. That's why they have, I would like
not.
for our audience to tune into you, right? Because I'm like, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get a lot of it from me on my podcast. Because I think a lot of people realize, like, and that's what I love about you. You're very about female empowerment. Some people say they are, but you're like really about it. Like you do it, and you're such a cheerleader and a supporter. Same with me and you, like we really want females to grow in the podcasting world. But I was going to say that's kind of on brand that did happen, because it's like, and talk to us about the podcast. Why did you call it Stupid?
Well, that's great. Thank
Because
you.
you're not stupid. You're really
Well,
one of my smartest friends, by the way. It's
thank you.
insane. Like,
Well, the name, it was originally going to be Hot Takes with Tori, but Hot Takes felt a little saturated. I mean, there's Subway Takes, there's so many shows where people are kind of throwing their hot takes out, so it felt like, man, it's kind of been done. So I had that idea for a while. I had the art for it. The art looked so cool. I have to send it to you. I was really pumped about that. But then after kind of shopping it around, everyone was kind of like, no. And so then one day I was on the phone with my friend. He was telling me about Shane Gillis's podcast, and it's like Shane's secret podcast. And I thought he said stupid. And I said, did you say stupid? Because that's brilliant. He's like, no, it's secret. But I was like, oh, I think stupid is so funny because I think you have to be a little I mean, obviously, as a comedian, we're hyper self-aware of how we're perceived and how things come across, and just the industry is so intense. So to be like, I'm starting a podcast, like it's again, not to use the word saturated again, but it's like it's such a market where it's like everyone's seemingly doing it. Um, and it's like, oh, if people take things seriously. I'm always just kind of like eye roll about it. So I was like, let me enter this space a little bit humbly, which is kind of how I move in general. And I'm like, if I call it stupid, it's kind of this like, getting ahead of everyone. Like, look, I know what this is. It's like, again, the following is low right now. I'm very lucky with, where I'm at in my career. It's like the YouTube get about, 200 views on there, which is not bad. And then like the downloads are about 50 to 100 per episode, which I'm lucky. If you think of those people sitting in a room, like that's a big audience.
A
So, but if
big
you think
audience.
about it in, the podcasting space, you're seeing these numbers on Call Her Daddy of like 1 million views an episode. So it's hard to kind of keep going in it when the best of the best are doing it so well. And you think, well, how can I even compete? But then, it's yours and that's how they started. So you have to keep going. So I think just by stamping it with this silly word of stupid, it's like we all can be stupid. It's silly, it's fun, and the word itself just makes me laugh. So, and it's funny, not to keep on this rant, then I will shut up. But sometimes I'll have people bring me up with that as my credit, like, oh, check out our podcast, Torey Cole podcast, and the audience already laughs when they hear that. And I love seeing that reaction to them. It's just like a visceral, like, what? Like, that's so silly and fun. And I love seeing that reaction just off the bat when people hear what the name of it is. So it keeps it silly and fun.
But I love that. And also, like you said, first of all, that's how Call Her Daddy started. It was 50 to 100. It wasn't, and to them, it was a big enough audience. They were just shooting the shit, really wanted to get shit out there. But the consistency, like you said, I like when people, people ask me all the time, how do you and your fellow comedians like do this? And I think it's like you, that's like the right answer. Humbling yourself, going into it and humbling, 10 steps ahead, being like, I know what this is. That's how people are going to be like, oh, I feel so comfortable with Torey. I want to come to this podcast. I want to feel stupid and silly with her. Like, even as a guest, I was like, the pressure was off because I felt like you made me feel comfortable, even though I also look up to you and you're a big name in the industry also. People, I think we don't see each other, like you said, like we don't know how we are until somebody else sees us. And so, like, I think that's really funny and really cool. And I have high hopes for it. I think it's going to blow up, honestly. The
Thank you.
more you do it, I really believe in my gut. I believe it's going to blow up.
That
It
means a
is
lot.
blowing up. It is blowing up, Tori.
You're sweet. I mean, I will say what brings me the most joy
Hmm.
in having it is just sitting on the couch with my friends who have gone to do such amazing things. Like, it's like Ian Lara as an HBO special, and Usama Siddiqui was just on, and he's doing so well in his career. And, I just feel so lucky to have these people with such careers and having you on, just like someone that I connect with and just is doing it, has been in the industry and working so hard for so long. I'm just so lucky to have people like you come and sit and just be willing and open to share and be open. And it's like, I don't know how to be like a loser about it, but it makes me so like, how lucky am I? Like I told you when you came down, I was like picturing you like getting on the subway and taking time out of your life and your day to do this with me. It just it means the world every time someone walks into my apartment to do it. And the best part is just sitting and having the conversations. I personally, the editing process is so difficult. As you know, I mean,
Oh,
just the cutting the YouTube just so that there's movement and like, because like I could easily sync the audio and the video and like dump it on YouTube, but I just spend a little extra time with it, make it visually pleasing, and just keep it all with the status quo. And also, it's like I do beat myself up, and I'm sure you were saying how you wish this was at the studio, and it's like sometimes I look at the edit, like the camera quality, and I'm like, oh, this is not it, but it's where it is now. I'm still lucky to have great conversations, and again, hopefully, it's only up from here. So,
it is. But I came in, I was impressed. First of all, the couch, love the couch, so comfortable. Love
thank
sitting on
you.
a nice, good couch. The background, the aesthetic is awesome, and the video is beautiful, and it is like step by step. It's like you want to be a perfectionist. I think as comedians too, and correct me if I'm wrong, excuse me, we seem like we're not perfectionists on stage, but that's the gift. It's like we really are. We put a lot of thought into jokes. We strategize. We're 10 steps ahead already from the audience, even in podcasting. Do you feel like this was kind of like a little bit something that took the pressure off with everything else, like where you don't have to make it so perfect?
That's a great question. I mean, as you experienced, there's sometimes hiccups with the SD cards or hitting
Yes.
record, and as the, it's running it, but I'm also producing it. So sometimes I'm having these conversations and suddenly my brain is like, is it the audio recording or is the SD card full? And I find myself not listening to what the other person is saying and I'm panicking and then I have to come to again. So there are those moments when I'm doing the podcast where like I'm not fully here and I'm like, there's like that perfectionist mindset that's kind of like, uh-oh, like this isn't right. Or another thing with just kind of the whole perfectionism thing is like I'll go online and I see these quality clips of podcasts where it's like you can see every pore on their face. And I'm like, I don't even care what they're saying. I'm blown away by the quality of this. And it goes viral because they could be like talking about, taking their morning shit and you're like, this is cinema. So it's like I can't,
This is poetry, what you just said. It's cinema. Do you
so
understand what a joke that is? Okay, this is what I'm saying. You're so witty right away. That's so hard. But you're right. I get what you mean. It's like you compare yourself
yes,
and you're
so I'm
like,
like, as I go to make a clip, I'm like, well, this looks nothing like so and so's podcast. Like, I'm not even gonna invite the other person as a collaborator because they're gonna say, what is this shit? So, right now I'm keeping it between me and I have had people collab in the past and they've been so kind, and those are the ones that get great views. But I'm also kind of like, I want to be like, put my finger painting on your freaking grid. So I'm trying to be mindful of like until it's at that next step, then that's like, but it really is the clips that get the visibility. So I have to just kind of get out of my own way and just be like, hey. Also, I did also see a clip recently that was total garbage. Not to be rude, but like quality wise, like it was shot on an iPhone. It was very blurry. It was like almost like an iPhone from 2008. So, but they put it out there, and I was like, you know what? Good for you. Like
right.
it actually was such a beautiful thing and I was like excited about it. I wasn't like judging how bad it was. I was like, well, how good on you to just keep things rolling. It's content, content, content. It's a numbers game that we're playing and you're not over here getting in some expensive studio and making sure it's perfect before you put it out. And it kind of gave me the confidence to put out a reel that day. So, everyone's kind of playing their own games and it's like it's just a matter of what you're willing to share and think is good enough. But we're all, our own harshest critics, like you said, and we are perfectionists. Like, even if you're on stage saying, I puked in my purse last week, it's like, well, you spent 20 hours that week writing. So,
Yep.
like,
Writing that, right? And that's what I was gonna say. Like, but I love also what I love about you is that you're such a boss and you're a doer. Like, you're not just a stand-up or a podcast host, you're a producer too. Like, it's not that easy. I think people who want to do podcasting or comedy, they just think it's so easy. And what I think it's cool about your podcast is that it's not supposed to look perfect. It looks
yeah,
great, but that's what's cool. Like, even with the
yeah,
when you talked about, like, and you guys are gonna see, hopefully you do this from now on, but like when you the ass shot of you opening up, like things like that. Like, these are
yeah,
things though that are creative, as from a producer standpoint, that you have the privilege to know that. You know what I'm saying? To be creative,
thank
to be like,
you.
that's why I say put it out there. I also was a perfectionist about high quality. I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna just start putting content, start doing, like, even with this interview, like you said, not being hard. We have to stop being so hard on ourselves. I think we
Yeah.
are so hard. What do you think it comes from? Like, so let's talk about you. Did you always want to be a stand-up comedian?
No, I completely tripped and fell into it. I had my friend asked me to be her maid of honor, and it was kind
Okay.
of an era when those YouTube videos were going viral of like the sisters dancing to the song, and like it had like a billion views, and you're like, that's so
Yeah.
silly.
You make me
So
laugh so hard. Yes, yes, yes,
remember
yes.
that time? Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
I saw way too many of those, and I thought, you know what? I want to give the most badass speech that there ever was, because my dancing skills, I'm not doing that. So I was like, you know what? Let me see if there's something cool I could do for my friend. So I was like, you know what, I'll give a really good speech. But then I'm horrified of public speaking, or historically I have been. Like I took
Okay.
a class in college, public speaking, and I would get wasted at like 10 a.m. because I was so scared to perform in front of an audience. So it was like I lived in a sorority house. We weren't allowed to have alcohol, but this was the one time I broke the rule. I had like a handle of orange brunettes that I would pour into my sorority house orange juice, and I would stumble in, get my speech out, and then go slump over in my chair, and I'd be hungover at noon. It was so bad. So I was like, that was my last experience like public speaking. So I was like, I have to find a way to work on this. So like there was like Toastmasters that people suggested. I'm like, that sounds corny as hell. And then I was like, well, the Comedy Cellar has classes. Like I'll just try that. And I remember sitting with my mom at breakfast. She was visiting New York because she would work here a lot for edits. She's a producer for commercials.
It's so cool.
Yeah, she got me into like advertising and everything. So she was in town on an edit. We were sitting in the West Village having breakfast, and I said to her, I really want to take this class at the Comedy Cellar. And she literally reached into her purse and like threw her wallet at me. She's like, buy it on me, book it now. Like I've never seen her so reactive and supportive. So I
Oh,
was like, oh my God, okay, I'll do it. So enrollment like opened up like a month later, and I was like quick to be like, please let me in, because it was pretty competitive at the time. I think it still is, but it was with Rick Crom.
yeah,
And
it's hard. I was going to say, because for other comics listening, it is a hard, I know I wanted to take it. It's not easy to get
Mhm.
in, right? It's a
No, you
hard
gotta
class to get
like
in.
email and like it ended
Referrals.
up on a certain day, and you gotta like, yeah. So I made sure I knew all the different steps to do it. So I booked it. And
Mhm.
funny enough, I had a friend that I knew from college who lived in the city at the time, and she was one of the funniest people I knew, like is and still is. But I was like, oh my God, Chelsea, you have to do this with me. And she's now has 1 million followers on Instagram. She is known as Chelsea Explains. She's a big influencer
Oh
now.
yeah,
Out
she's
of her.
hilarious. I know who she is. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, isn't that crazy? I mean, I'm so proud
That's
of her. She did
crazy
that in a
though.
year. She built that following in 1 year. Yeah. So Chelsea and I took the class together. It was so fun having a friend in it. And yeah, so that's kind of how it all started. And she's so beyond with like everything. And I'll never forget. So after our class wrapped, she put her stand up on Reddit. And I'm like, what's Reddit? Like that's where I was at. Like she knows I don't understand how this girl is a human being. But she put her first ever showcase on Reddit, and I saw how well it did, and I thought, well, I want to do that. So again, I didn't know anything at the time, so I made her put my stand up on her YouTube, even though she was,
Okay.
you're gonna want those views. I didn't even know what that meant. I said, I don't give a shit. Put it on YouTube for me, because I'm like, I'm like, I don't know how to do anything. So she puts it on her YouTube. I put the link on Reddit, and it made it to the top of like the Reddit stand up page. Everyone's saying, great job, this is amazing. So early on, I got this big boost of like, you're great. So obviously, I mean, I'm sure you had that initial like, I'm good at this, which then it's like then you're like, oh my God, I was so bad. This is so embarrassing. But I had that early like, beginner's euphoria, like pink cloud of like, oh, I'm good at this. It's like, no, you've got another like, 5 years of grinding at this until like again, I still am like, I stink. But I had that early like push from the internet and my friends and family. So that's how I got into it. That's how I stuck with it and kind of kept it going.
Wow. And then how old were you? Like were you like in your 20s, or you were already in
26.
college? Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's but that's like a long it's a long time, and I get what you're saying. See, a lot of people are like, right, you can get that. You articulated it very well. It's like that beginning of euphoria, I'm making it, and then you realize as you're getting in the game, you get knocked down a lot. Even if you're really good, we've seen the best of the best get knocked down. That's why comedy's so hard, and such a cutthroat. I say it's more cutthroat than even my actor friends are like, damn, you guys are like, this is cutthroat. This shit is worse than what we're going, right?
Also, it's like you're taking your life. You're like,
Yeah.
hey, these are my life experiences. I'm gonna make them funny. It's like putting your heart on a sleeve and then just being like, and laugh. Like it's you have to draw from personal experiences in some sense and then observational, but it's all coming from you. It's all you, what you look like, how you react to that, how you move in the world, like who you are as a person. It's like you're just like putting that on a platter and then you're like, and then laugh. And it's like, as a comedian, I'll watch a show, I won't make a peep, but like I'll think I'll be like, damn, that's good. So it's like to have an audience audibly laugh, and that's the only way of knowing you're doing well is wild.
Wild is right.
Wild.
You're right. And putting your pain on top of it
Hmm.
for them to laugh. Isn't it funny how we will sometimes finish a show and we're like, did they laugh enough at my fucked up life? You know what I mean? It's like that's really the beauty and also the curse of it all. It's like,
Hmm.
talk to us a little bit about like, you know, when you started doing stand up, did you go through any types of obstacles or, doubters, and how
Oh,
did you deal
yeah.
with that?
I mean, I think in any industry, like think of like the Chapel Roans. It's like she was, you've seen all the TikToks of her in a park playing the piano and no one is looking at her. And then it flashes to her at Lollapalooza with like 80,000 people in the audience. It's like that wasn't overnight. And it's like anytime you're in, like, this, but the people listening don't, but it's like when you see someone on a stage, you're like, oh, they did so much to get there. And it's like for me, it's like I worked at Broadway. I did the industry room.
Hmm.
And then, which is a showcase where you audition, then you get spots. So I got a few spots. Pandemic hit. They called me back after and they said, you still have a few spots left if you want to come back and do them. So I was in Florida at the time because I just kind of like was all over the place during the pandemic, but I came back, did my spots, and then I was asking, I'm like, oh, there's an intern program. Like someone kind of like chirped it in my ear, like you should do that. So then I learned quickly that that's just it's seating people for stage time.
Hmm.
So I then got, luckily, it's like, again, it's like you're lucky to get these things. And it's like, so I was luckily essentially an usher at a club. So then I did that for a year. And then I also was asked to work the door. So then it's like I'm seating people on Sundays, I'm working the door on Mondays, and then I also would work the door on the weekends too. So and like every time you work the door, you get every spot on the show. So I was so lucky in my first year back after the pandemic to get. I used to track because Jared Waters, he used to track all of his spots on his notes tab. So I thought that was really cool. So I did that year and I had like 300 spots, and a
That's
large
amazing.
portion of them coming from Broadway and Greenwich. So lucky to get that. But it's, again, I'm working for those spots. I'm answering phone calls. I'm checking every single person that comes to that door. And on the weekends, there's a show upstairs, a show downstairs at the same time. And you got to make sure they go into the right room because for the one downstairs, they're coming to support a friend. The upstairs one
Hmm.
is just anyone off the street. So you're running those numbers. You're thinking about what am I going to say on stage? I'm fresh back, so I'm nervous as hell, And then suddenly they go, "All right, you're on." So you go, "Excuse me." You say, "Hold the door." You go do your 5 minute spot and then you're coming back up and you're just working. So that was, really it's like to get started in this industry, it's like I think anyone goes for something like that. And then luckily they asked me to then manage Greenwich. So I gave up my intern spot. I passed that along, kind of like you just, the wheel spins and I give
Pass the baton. Yeah.
literally have to give someone your spot. It's like graduating, and then you're like, here is so and so. They would
That's
like to see
cool.
people. So I gave it to my friend Thelonious, who's very funny. I started managing, and now that's another way that I kind of just pay my dues and then get my stage time on Tuesday nights, which kind of just keeps me in it when I'm not, whether I'm touring or having, my show or doing like a indie show in the city. But it's crazy. I mean, there are some weeks where I'm like, I just have my Greenwich spots, but then there's some weeks where, or like 2 years ago when I was on tour, like every weekend. So as you know, this industry will give you the highest highs, like opening for Leslie Jones, and
Yeah.
then you go back to the smallest room ever to three
Yeah.
people, and you're
Six
like,
people. And you're
what
like,
the
what the?
fuck is this? But that's comedy, and it's like the more you're in the game, you know that that's normal. But
Yeah.
it's so hard to kind of again go high and then low over and over again. So you just kind of like keep the mindset of like, all right, this is how the game is played. Just keep going, and it's wild. It's
And
really
you've helped me honestly with that, like as much like I have so much respect for you because I also want people to understand how hard you worked for it. And that's I think the illusion and the perception sometimes, especially with women, because it's such a boys' club and the stigma with women, especially when you're a pretty girl and people want to make just assumptions that would bothers me. The stigma, oh, she got there because of this. No, like look how hard you worked and you still want to work harder. Same with, all of us do, but I'm saying what a respect that is like that you're still first of all what people don't know is that you also have a full-time job that you have to also really be on for plus the comedy plus you're managing an iconic club that will be a staple forever, right? We all want to be in Broadway, we all want to be in Greenwich. It is an iconic club to play at. Some of the biggest people did, which we're going to get to, like Troy Bond, who you also open up for. I mean, do you feel like it does affect your stand up sometimes when you have all this going on? Like, do you feel like you can't focus? Because you're so funny too. Like, how do you, I guess that's the secret, right? How do you keep calm? Doing the
yeah.
work, then going on
Thank
stage.
you.
Yeah, that's
That's
like
so kind.
incredible.
I mean,
Because I'm like 0 to 100. You see me, I'm like, what?
Oh, I'm like that. I also joke that I'm like a duck where it's like you see it kind of
Yes.
going along the pond, but like underneath it's paddling for its life. Yeah, that's me. My sister once called me neurotic chill. Um, so that's kind of my vibe. Like I
I
guess I
love it.
keep it all kind of like, everything's fine, but like sometimes I get a little bitter sometimes, like if someone is doing something where I'm like, damn, I don't know if they worked for that. But again, you don't know what someone's done or haven't done. And there's the online game as well. And I definitely have not played that game to the best of my ability. So I have to kind of tip my hat to people that leverage that more than I do, because I'm more boots on the ground in the clubs, wiping tables instead of making TikToks, which essentially there's so many different avenues and TikToks are fucking hard. I'll say it. Like,
They're hard.
I see it, and you see a 7-second video with 10 million views, and you're like, well, I could have done that. Well, it's like, okay, then do it. So thank you for saying I seem to keep calm. I definitely have my little spats with myself of like, well, fuck that, or God damn it, or like they were given that, or they have their parents' money that it's pushing them through. And it's like, okay, I've seen also people come from literally nothing and have these amazing careers. Like Troy came from a small town and he, worked for everything he got. So you have no excuses. And like I have to keep reminding myself of that because sometimes I'll be like, well, my computer's too old and editing my podcast is too hard and this is bullshit and I deserve, and it's like, no, you have a computer, and sure, maybe it takes 3 extra hours because it's 5 years old and it's not compatible with Adobe Premiere, but you have it and you're doing it and you're fine and you're gonna keep going. So I think we're our own worst enemies with our mindsets because it's so easy to point fingers and say, oh, well, they are this and they have that. Or I see younger comics all the time who started in high school, and I'm like, if only I did that. And it's like, okay, well, you didn't. And then there's like Leanne Morgan, who just had her special. I just watched it. It was so hilarious. And it's
So
like
hilarious.
she started later in life, and like it's literally just putting in the work, putting in the time, and then just kind of waiting for your break to happen. And if you keep working at it, and also like a mentor of mine of sorts, like Ian Lara is a good friend of mine, and he's always kind
Hmm.
of played this mentor role in my comedy career. And he once said to me, like, a lot of people can take the elevator up, but they're gonna have to take the stairs back down and then do it the right way. So, I mean,
Wow, that's so true and powerful. And
so
he's right.
true. It's
Because even me, I had to do like I came from reality TV, but I've always been doing comedy. The funny part is, so what a lot of people don't know is I was doing comedy at Northeastern University when I was in college because I was just interested in it. And I was always like a funny kid, and my friends were like, "Get into comedy, you have to do it." And I remember Emma Willman was already doing it for years, but she was doing the college tours. And
uh-huh.
she came to our college, and that was like the first time I ever even met her. Like I was like one of the openers, but it was young. Instead of going
Right.
to like the club sometimes, I was like, I'm gonna be my friends would call me a nerd. Oh, you're gonna do stand up? Like they didn't get it. Like now stand up's
Mhm.
so much even cooler, obviously. It's always been cool. But I think that's the whole point is like you have to pay your dues that people don't know. Like, and I'm saying even with that background, and starting early in life, taking breaks, starting later. I'm 40. I still haven't made what I want to make. I think it's goals, right? Like
Mhm.
you're like, do you think your goal is to be the real stand-up comic every day, pushing into clubs, or is there a fame goal for you, or is it like what
I
it
mean,
for you is it? Do you
I'd be
think?
living my dream if I had, 5 spots a week in the city, whether it be the stand or the cellar. I mean, the cellar is literally an iconic. It's that my pie in the sky. It's like, he's like, I see close friends get it, and you're like, well, if they can get it, how I can't I? But then you're like, no, it's one of the hardest clubs in the world to get into, so check yourself. But I'm sure you feel this in the industry where
Yeah.
it's like, we're rubbing shoulders with everyone in these positions. It's like, this last month I did a show with Cam Patterson on the lineup, and we're in the same room waiting to go on stage, the same stage. And it's like, it's so interesting because it's like the world that we're in brings us so close, but then also it's like we're so far apart in what we're all trying to do. And we're all on different paths and different avenues. So it's easy to be like, okay, I want this art, but it's like, okay, the reality is this many comics in the world. It's kind of like playing in the NFL. Like
Yeah.
you see it on TV, you think, yeah, everyone's doing it. There's a million players.
Yeah.
You realize, oh, let's think of high school. Who makes it to D1? Who from D1 makes it to the NFL? It's like, oh, we're talking, millions to thousands to hundreds. And that's kind of what comedy is too.
Yes.
Like it's the best of the top. And it's so many factors that make you great. And you're really competing with yourself, but it's just putting your head down and doing the work. And you're gonna drive yourself mad no matter what. So you might as well drive yourself mad doing the best you can. So if it does or doesn't work out, you can just look in the mirror and be like, well, I gave it my all. And that's all I can say. And and again, something will click in some way or another if you really keep at it. Like I also love writing. My other big dream in all of this is to write a book that becomes a movie, ultimately, again, pie in the sky. So
Yes.
it's like, well, then fucking start writing. It's like we're all in control of our own things, and it's like no one can touch writing. Like it
Yes.
doesn't matter if there's an audience or whatever, it's not stage time, it's just putting in the work to write. And I get in my head with how AI is kind of changing that game as well. But it's like just again, people are still writing books, they're still writing movies, shows are still being made, so shut your mouth. and keep going.
Keep going and keep doing you. That's what I'm saying. That's why I love surrounding myself around you and positive people like that, because it's inspiring. Like, it's about doing.
Doing.
You're
Yeah.
right. Just doing. Don't think, yeah, maybe the sketch that you do might not hit 10 million views, but keep doing it. Like, you and
Yeah.
I had talked about it, and we do, and we're also, by the way, stay tuned because we're going to be doing one. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it is such great advice what you're saying. Just do. Just do. It doesn't matter what the excuses is. Yeah, you have to clean tables. It's harder work to get stage time. Well, you want the stage time, we got to do it, right? Like, I had to bark. I remember for the pair 10 years ago, and sell, and I wouldn't even be able to get on that stage unless I sold. It wasn't even the effort, so it's like,
Wow.
and still, like, I can't get into
Yeah.
certain clubs, but I love when we have our talks because you inspire me to be like, no, 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 you'll get there.
Mhm.
Just keep. And I'm like, shit, am I gonna be 60 on my deathbed being like, Tori, did I pass Broadway, Tori? You're like, yeah, in your fucking deathbed, you can do the showcase right
You're
here.
doing it.
You
You're doing
do
it. Also, what I
it.
think is like, how
Yeah.
lucky are we that like we're in a world too where if you want to make something, you can
Hmm.
share it. Like that's what's also really cool. Like, you know,
Right.
back before the internet, it's like comedians really only had the stage. And like that was one kind of, it's like I love that because I think
Yeah.
that's a great thing. But also it's like now it's like if you think something's funny, you can share it and put it out there and like someone could find it. It's like playing the lottery every time you post on the internet. So it's like just keep playing, just keep putting the coins in. Like it's something's gonna hit, especially if you believe in it and think it's funny.
I love that. I love that. This is amazing. Wait, so yeah, talk to us also about, we were talking about Troy Bond, opening up for him because also he
Mhm.
blew up too and he has worked
Yeah.
so hard. Years and years this guy has been like, grounding from the bottom up.
Hmm.
How did that happen? And then like, how did you guys collaborate? And because you guys are also a great team and you're really funny on the road with him. Like, yeah, talk to us a little bit about that too.
Yeah. So like, again, it all kind of the Broadway was kind of my hotbed for everything. I was seeing people and he was there all the time. He would host every industry room show. He was there every night. So we connected there, became friends. He asked me to do his podcast when it was bonding and just him. So he had me on as a guest, and then we had so much fun. One of our first ever clips from it got 1 million views. And so he was like, "Oh, I think we've got something here." And so then he asked me to be a full-time co-host of
Yeah.
Bonding. That was 4 years ago now, which is so crazy. And then he started touring. Then his video went super viral, the one where he called that woman Kamala Harris. So I called the Kamala Harris video. That blew up, and then his Modern Day Seinfeld videos blew up. So he suddenly went from the basement of Broadway to a full tour, essentially. So he got on a rocket ship and he was like, "You want on?" And I was like, "Yes, please." So our first ever tour was in St. Petersburg, Florida at Coastal Creative. And that was in, I want to say, like February of 2023. And then his manager just started throwing, then I kept getting booked on shows, but only if I brought Troy. So I had a friend reach out to me who had a show at Helium Comedy Club, and she said, "Hey, I'd love to have you on, but I need you to get a Troy." And I was like, "Okay, sure, let me ask him." So I kind of started whoring Troy out. Next thing you know, Helium is sold out. His manager getting involved in the cuts, and I'm like, "Oh my God, here I am just trying to bring a friend onto a show, and it becomes this huge thing." And then it happened again where another girl asked me to do her show in Connecticut, but she's like, "But you have to bring Troy." So then I kind of was like his like pseudo manager for a second where I'm like, "Hey, we're going here, figure it out." So then that was kind of like his early touring was just me being like playing Barbie, like here, here. And then he picked up management and agents, and then he was put on a full tour. And I was
Mhm.
very, very lucky to join him literally all over the country. I mean, it was really
Amazing.
wild that year. Yeah, we went to Florida like 4 times. We were in California a bunch. I mean, we hit Ohio, Missouri.
Wow.
We went to we went to Zany's Nashville, Zany's Chicago. I mean, we were really like I was so fortunate to get like just a 101 in touring. And it's funny because I had other friends, like for example, Ian Lara, kind of checking in with me during that time. And he's like, "By the way, this isn't touring. Like what you're experiencing is not normal. They don't sell
Mhm.
out like this. Like when you're on tour, you're
Right.
praying that someone comes, that they got a babysitter, that they care about the show, that they're having fun. Those are the normal concerns of touring. he goes, what this is and what you're experiencing, he was like, soak it up because that's not tour. So I was always kind of like, yeah, okay. And then as I've gone on the road with other people and I've had my own headlining shows. First one ever was Nick's Comedy Stop in Boston, which was brutal.
I, because I went to college in Boston. I know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why was it brutal? Yeah, yeah.
No
Because
shade to
it
the
is.
club,
No,
but
no. Boston's just a brutal audience. I just want to let
well,
you know. I love
I
Boston. Brutal.
I will say I so one of
Especially
the
if you're
most
a New Yorker coming. Like
yeah,
meaning,
I loved Laugh Boston. Troy
yeah,
sold
so good.
out, and I actually had the time of my life on that stage. But when I had to do Nick's Comedy Stop on my own, the Celtics were in like the championship, and that was the night of my show. So I had like four people there. One guy was like drunk and out of his mind.
Oh,
Like three people were in the back. I couldn't even see them. So I basically did a show to one drunk person in the front row, and I was just like, oh my God, is this what comedy is? Is this what comedy is without Troy? Like this stinks. So that was tough. The second night was a little more fun, and then I had my own headliner in DC last November, and that was actually really special. I had like 80 people come out on like a rainy, cold Wednesday, and it was the
oh,
time of my life. I felt
that's
so lucky.
amazing.
Yeah, so that was kind of that's been my experience on my own, which again, it's like two shows, or yes,
Yeah.
three total. But so it's hard. Like you're like, oh my God, it's like having a birthday party. You're like, does someone want to show up or care? Also it's like your name is on the billboard, so it's like, is the club gonna make money? The people work, they showed up to serve drinks. It's like you really take on all of this. Like, I hope everyone's having fun and okay. Like they got in their car to be here. It's like, I hope it's funny. You kind of carry that weight where I have been told, Chloe LeBranch actually told me this. She goes, I've been told, she said she was told this, that featuring is actually the best seat in the house in terms of
Mhm.
touring. It's like no one gives a fuck who you are. You don't worry about ticket sales. You show up. You don't, no one really cares how you do because you're just the warm-up act. If you do well, amazing. They're like, oh my God, that was hilarious. Who even is this? If you do fine, fine, move on. You get paid and you go
Mhm.
home. So it's like that mindset has been really helpful too as I continue kind of down the feature path for now. It's like enjoy it. Like it's actually such a special spot to be in, especially with you're with bigger people. You're like, well, how lucky am I to share a stage with these people? And it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you became a better comedian, or just more confident, I would say. I
Oh
don't, I
yeah.
hate using better because of touring and because obviously you're
Oh
going
my
with someone
God.
who's like every
Yes.
night, right? That helps you. More, I always tell comics, yeah, the more stage time, of course, it makes you a better comic when you have more opportunity, of course. That's the whole game,
It
right?
makes
Like,
you also just kind of level set. Like I used to get nervous at Greenwich years ago,
mm,
but like I'll
mhm,
never forget. I had just come back from tour with Troy. He sold out the San Jose Improv, and it was
mhm,
a room of 500 people. Like it's a theater setting. And I'm like, wow, if I could get on stage in front of 500 people, I can get on stage here at Greenwich. So it's like you whenever you get that next level, it kind of like lifts you up to be like, okay, if you can do that, you can do this. So I even had that mindset whenever I would get nervous, being like picturing that room, being like, you did that, you can do this. So I will say, I mean, when I was touring so much, I had like the muscle and like the muscle memory of doing 20 and just getting in, getting on a plane and going, and it was amazing. And sometimes I kind of feel like I'm like falling into like a little bit of like a, rusty or just not exactly inspired to write as much because I'm like, well, when I had these big shows coming up, I'd be like, whoa, I want to have a new joke, I want to clip that, I want to film. And now it's like especially with my day job and just all of the plates spinning, I'm kind of like I'll get on stage and I'm like, oh fuck, I've been telling this joke for 4 years. Like, let's go, move on, like build on it or make it different or say it different because it's like I feel like a broken puppet that's not getting that momentum anymore if I don't, push myself or have that next thing to look forward to. So it
well,
definitely ebbs and flows.
that's what I was gonna ask. Well, that's what I was gonna ask you because, like, a lot of comics, there's a genius to comedy where it's like I think people don't realize, and it's kind of the secret we're exposing. But we're hurt. This is what I got after 10 years. I'm like, oh, really? The beauty is like getting a really sick, dope set and just memorizing over and over. And of course, every crowd. But you're right. You then end up being. You feel like you're not as creative anymore. And you're like, what am I
Mhm.
doing? Like, I need something new. I need to write more. I need to. But do
Yeah.
you think there's what do you think about those comics that don't write new stuff and just stick to the material that does work over time? Do you think that's also there's something to that, like that maybe helps you get further, or no, that there's no like,
I think there's an art to it.
Art, okay.
And I do think if you have the most killer 5 minutes ever, that's really what's going to get you a late night spot, which will then build your career. So I think there's something to be said about having something that you really believe in that's like airtight.
Hmm.
So I definitely see the value in that. But, I can't help it if you see someone come to the club and say the same jokes over and over again. The comics in the back are going to be rolling their eyes. They're going to be mouthing their set. It's like have something. Like what it's like I totally respect if you have a special coming up or a late night set or you're really trying to polish 5 minutes for something amazing. But I think the gift of doing comedy is to check what's new and connect with the audience and see what works or how they react. And it's like if the audience doesn't think you see them, you're gonna lose them unless again you have that airtight, brilliant set. But that's also, it's like that's you're gonna get bored. You're gonna get it's just not to me that is not exciting. And I want a comic that gets on stage. Like for example, right now, a comic that when they're at Greenwich, I always go into the room to watch is Josh Mandel.
Okay. Yeah, he's funny.
He's a goof. You never know what's coming out of his mouth. And I rarely leave my office during my shifts unless I'm hanging with my friends or if it's like a really great comic on stage. Like I'll watch Usama sometimes because he's pretty goofy and he's trying new stuff all the time. But Josh is someone where I'm like, he's gonna roast the audience.
Hmm.
He's just gonna mess with them. He's gonna crowd work. He'll have some bits to fold in and like he just cracks me up. And that's someone that like inspires me on like how I do comedy. So I'm personally, that's my preference. I'm drawn to like the off the cuff. And I also will admit this. I feel like this is a safe space
Yes,
and
always.
I hate to admit it. But the other day I was on my YouTube and a video started playing and it was Crystalia crowd work. And I do not agree with Crystalia's life choices, who he is as a person and what he's done in life. I think it's disgusting. Again, it's all mostly allegations. I do think there's some truth to all of it, but he used to be my favorite comedian back before everything came out. So I do really love his style of comedy and his who he is as a comedian. And his crowd work had me on the edge of my seat. He would play with the crowd and then he would then do callbacks from all the things that they were all saying and then make
Hmm.
jokes out of that. And it just blew my mind to the point where I ended up watching like 30 more videos. Like I spent like 6 hours watching him do crowd work and it really was such a like it's art in itself of how he did crowd. It wasn't just where are you from? It was him playing with the reaction of the crowd and how does he want to let it breathe and then pull them in and find what's funny about that and then put it like his ability to work with the crowd as almost like they're one person and have a conversation in a really cool way. It really blew my mind and it gave me a lot of inspiration for how I want to, bring again, there's the comics that say crowd work is cheating.
Right. I was gonna say, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, when you become right, that's what I admire of Chris Lee and certain people, even Jeff Akari, he's really good at it. It's like when I do it a lot. My style is like because I have the background of improv roasting also. So you're gonna use that as crowd work if a real joke doesn't land. And I think when a comic's only sticking to that, it's not that they don't have a lot to them. I just feel like they're just sticking to this old school formula that like that's not where comedy is going. And if you can't play with that,
Mhm.
why would everyone want to keep coming to see you specifically? Or
Yeah.
that's how, managers and agents pick who they want to invest in, like Troy or you. I've seen you do crowd work too, and you're amazing too, because we're going to talk about where you pull your stuff from because it's also relatable. You talk about personal stuff as opposed to
Mhm.
topical sometimes, where it's sometimes we were talking about this yesterday at a comedy club, how some comics, you never get to know them because they never
Yeah.
talk about funny things about them. You don't know them. You don't know who they are. They talk about the news, they make fun of the presidents, which is fine too. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
what do you think makes a comic stand out? Like you said, someone who gets you off your seat over the edge. And I have a similar style like you. That's if I was around a booker or I was a booker, that's probably who I would book more. Right. I mean, so because
Yeah.
you're around it, like, so talk to me about what you feel about that, and then we'll get into your style of comedy.
Yeah. I mean, I just think crowd work is literal proof in the moment of are you funny?
So
And
why do you think comics are against that? Like, what is this whole stigma of like it's
I think,
cheating? It's
well, it's you're not using written material. So there are the
okay.
comics that are like, if you have a written joke, tell it. Like
Okay.
there's the old school like written material is king.
Right.
And I do think your set should be backed in that, and you should always have it.
Sure.
But I do think breaking into well done, like there's nothing better than a crowd work moment where the audience loses their mind. Like that's to me
Yeah.
most fun. And also like they love the off the cuff stuff. That's why they're there in person. They could turn on the TV and watch comedy all day long, but to feel like they're involved in something or have a play in something, it's like you can't
Yeah.
recreate that ever. So I think also like we lost everything during the pandemic of this in-person connection. So to be in person and then really capitalize on that and not just stand there and perform a set as if they're not even there, they're kind of wasting this in-person, this special moment for everyone.
Yeah, and also like you said too, you can write a really dope joke that's witty, funny, and we let's say me and you say it and it doesn't hit sometimes. So then you pick from the crowd. That's why you
Yeah,
are right with Chris D'Elia or Jeff Corey. They know how to like backtrack and then get to the joke even in the moment.
yeah,
At least you're making the joke within the crowd work. That's all I care about, right? Like not just saying shit and then everyone's laughing. I get that. But like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, or just making fun of
100%.
someone maliciously. But I think you're right. I think it's a new era. And if you have all this together, it's just a better way of engaging. I
Yeah.
really, I think you articulated it the best. I think you have to have all of it. I always say that to everyone.
No, I mean, I feel like I got a 101 in comedy touring with Troy, and I would watch most of his hours. It was never the same. And he has such devout fans that they'll come to back shows. They'll come Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They'll be there at every single show. And if you have fans like that and you're at that level and you're doing the same hour, you're gonna lose that. And even as his friend who went everywhere with him, I always was like, what is he gonna say? It was so fun. Like I was always like, what's he gonna do? You never knew. And I think there's something really special about a comedian that keeps you on your edge of your seat no matter what. I think that's why he has such a big following because you really don't know he's very off the cuff. He's a,
I love it.
he's a
I,
wild card and
yeah.
you don't know what's gonna happen. And I think that's his special sauce.
And I'm so happy you said that because I have so much respect for you. And I know our audience looks up to you too as such a great comedian that it's important for you to say that because I feel like there was one time there was a showcase. I was headlining it. I think I call them the rookie comics, the up and coming ones, they it's like kind of like their first time after a few
Yeah.
open mics. And one of them after the show I crushed. And like one of them after the show was like, "Oh, you did so well, but I have some notes for you." And I was like, "Listen, this is where like I'm not the rookie anymore. I have the experience." I was like, "Thank you so much, but I've been doing this for a long time, and this is who I am, and this is my style. So no, I don't need the notes. Like I'll get them from the booker, and that's all good." Like there was a time I didn't know how to talk to people and kind of create boundaries. Like you don't have to solicit to me because this is who I am, and I'm gonna have to
Right.
work through the stage. You're not in my ear. You're not with me, and that's when I realized who am I trying to impress? Other comics. Which, yes, I know we have that pressure, but like you said,
Mhm.
like you'll start impressing them when you start doing new material, when you start being confident in who you are, when you don't care and you're like, I like who I am in this moment. Because if your joke doesn't land and you wrote the funniest joke, sorry, buddy, you were paid to make the crowd laugh. So once you engage in them and that becomes a set, who cares what the other comics say? I'm sorry, with all due respect, that's what drives me crazy. I'm
Yeah.
like, how are you telling me when you have also bombed? So like, I
Yeah.
was kind of also kind enough not to tell you you fucking bombed in front of a whole crowd at Gotham Comedy Club. You cannot be telling me that. So you have to know when to like when you
Yeah.
went to have people have ever done that to you, like, but you're nicer. I don't know. You're very nice and patient. I wish I need to start being around you more because it's better to be this way than I could get 0 to 100. You don't have to yell at people just because because they don't mean it. I don't think they're meaning it in a malicious way. I don't know.
I do think a lot of it comes from a lack of self-awareness.
Yes, and we talked about this offline. Like a lot of bullying, it feels sometimes
Yeah.
around me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think it's just people's insecurities. That's definitely where the bullying comes into play. And I
Okay.
think it's lack of self-awareness when they're trying to give you notes. I mean, I'm always open to hearing a tag. They're not always great, but I'm like, thank you. That makes me think of it this way, or maybe I could include that somewhere else. Like that, I'm very open to that kind of feedback. But
Same.
other than that, no. Also, I do really think that comedy is so unique. To your point, it's like this is how I do it, and I feel like something that I've been noticing recently, and again, not to bring up watching Chris D'Elia again, it's a little embarrassing, but he has so much fun on stage. He laughs at his own jokes, which
Yeah.
is a little bit of an ick to a certain degree, but he's having so much fun up there, and that's when the audience has fun. And it's like that's been a lesson that I've really been trying to like come into play in my own comedy. It's like if you're having fun, they're having fun. And it's hard if you're nervous or you're trying to think of the next joke. It's like it's not easy to get to. I think the professionals really get there when they're clearly relaxed and settled in and having legitimate fun, that's where the magic happens. So I really just think it's all about the energy you bring and who you are because you can get up there and like I mentioned this to Chloe actually. I told her how I was watching Crystal Lee and she goes, "Oh my gosh, we were all at the stand recently and we were all just saying how he'll get on stage and he'll just make faces and people will laugh."
Yeah.
It really is just who you are and your energy, and that's how the audience reacts. And I think there's, again, with comedy, there's so many factors at play that there's no, oh, try this or do this. It's like, have fun, be yourself and let loose. And that's when it all comes into play.
I'm meant to that. Yeah. Like I was gonna say, like, and we'll move on from this topic, but like also like depending also like you talked about a tag. Also, who are you gonna ask? Like I would ask you for that opinion because I trust you and like we've worked together and you've been in comedy for so long and I know you're coming from such a good place with me and you handle it sensitively. I'm sorry, I'm not going to take it from a waitress at a comedy club who's been a waitress at a comedy club for a year and then she's telling the booker, well, I didn't understand Chanel's jokes. Well, I don't care if you understood it or not. Other people did, they laughed. That's the thing that I'm not getting. Why, like, maybe you can bring an opinion because you're around staff a lot. What do you think that is where they sometimes have the influence, but they're not the ones doing the actual comedy and they're not even really on stage like us, writing and paying? I know they're the staff and they're seeing a lot
Mhm.
going in and out, but they're not really. That's my point. It's like, what's your, I tell comics, just remember who you're taking it from. No offense, with all due
Yeah.
respect, the waitress is not there to tell you the jokes. And then when she ends up wanting to become a comic later on, that's going to be her process. But like, you can't be a waitress and say, well, I don't understand the joke, so she can't be on, she shouldn't pass. Because we were talking about like passing clubs and is that important? To your point, I don't think any of that is important after what you said. I think you gave the best advice. It's like, as long as you're having fun, as long as you're getting opportunity, I mean, do you think it's important to pass for your career to become a full on comedian that's respected? Or does it doesn't matter? Like,
I
that's what I'm
just think
saying.
it
It's like,
depends on your goals. I mean, you can easily go on tour and never be passed at a single club.
mm,
You know, it's like you
right.
depends on what you want out of it.
Like,
So
does it matter if the staff says, well, I don't think she or he's a good comedian. Does
I
that
think
mean
it
you're not going to make
depends.
it? You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
not at all.
right.
And I really think it depends on what their end goal is with what they're saying. Is like, do they genuinely want you to be better and help you? There's
Mm,
that
right.
angle.
Right.
If it's coming from like trying to like tattle or make you look bad, then that just is a mirror on themselves of their own insecurities. So I really, again, I think, I love the saying like anyone can do the job, even the janitor. So it's like I don't think it's like or like I love ratatouille, anyone can cook. So it's like if they have an opinion, we're all kind of the same. Humans all have the similar life experience to a certain degree. It's like if they have an opinion, there's a chance that maybe somebody in the audience might think that way. So I'm always open to hearing an opinion. And
Sure.
I also kind of feel like at the cellar, the people that work there are kind of the eyes and the ears. So I think it's important to always be aware that like you could bomb, you can kill, but someone in that room is going to report it back to somebody. So
Mm,
it's like always being aware of like, there's always going to be someone in the room saying something, and it just is a matter of are they trying to help you or hurt you? And, how can you get better? Because I do think no matter what the feedback is, you can always grow from it. Had,
yes.
I
I
had a
love
booker
that.
watch a set recently. It was for cruise ships, and I don't really want to do them. I watched Poop Cruise, and I was like, fuck this. But he gave me notes on a set I recently submitted, and you can't cuss because it's like Carnival and it's a bunch of big brands, and you have to do family comedy, which is not my style. So between Poop Cruise and just not, it being not a good fit, I was like, I don't give a fuck. But here's a tape just in case because it's a great money grab. And I'm like, all right, I'll float on a toilet for a week to get some stage time in.
Hell yeah.
But he told me, he said, I watched your set and you say like a lot, and it kind of takes away from the punches in your joke. And I really was, at first I was like, well, what do you know? It was typical initial like, but then I really thought about it. And as I would do my sets, I would remove. And it really helped me kind of condense my set into being a stronger set. So I do really think, no matter what, if someone has something to say, there's a good chance someone else feels that way. And I'm really actually quite grateful that he told me that. So,
I do agree with you. That's why and we talked about this, which is what I'm working on. I'm working on, and especially in therapy, right? Taking feedback, taking constructive criticism, and even if it's in a bullying way or not, taking it. And I'm writing it down every day. And like my ex always wanted to, the noise of my ex, you're so bad, you're not good enough. Even I could say, what do you know? Even though he worked at clubs, but I still respect what he said. I wrote it down. I still have it. And you're right, it does make you a better comic because all that noise and then taking yourself out of it and then believing yourself and then doing it, you're like, and having
mhm.
fun on stage, you're right. No one can take that away from you. So who
Well,
cares what everyone says, really?
yeah, honestly, and I will say, my mom gave me this advice once. I was complaining to her about something, and
Mhm.
I said, "Do you think that?" And she goes, "No, but I think you do." And I was like, "Oh shit." And when she flipped the mirror on it, I was like, she's right. I do feel that way about myself and I want to fix that. So it's like if someone could say anything to you, but until
Mhm.
you flip it and think, well, why does this hurt me? And then it's like, oh, it's because I think there's truth to that. Because if there's no truth to it, you're gonna say, okay, sure. Like someone was like, hey, your face is green. I'd be like, okay. But it's like if I really had a lime green face, I'd be like, oh my God, like I better fix
Right.
this. This is a
Like
problem.
if someone calls me a hoe, I'm like, maybe. Sometimes I get insecure. No, but you know
I
what?
have my moments. Yeah. So I think
So true.
there's no silver bullet to any of it, and it's all case by case. And I mean, this really applies to like my dating life where I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that again. It's like then I meet someone else and it's like a Rubik's Cube. And I'm like, well, he has this, this, and this, and I already fixed those things about myself. And then it's like I'm like trying to change it, and it's like, I don't know how to fix this one. So it's always going to be different. And I think we all have to give ourselves grace with that as we enter into any new thing, where it's like you can have the playbook for the last thing you did, but the plays are going to change, the players are going to change, and it's going to be a new environment. So you're not going to have the same, rules.
So even if it feels like a race at times, sorry,
Mhm.
yeah, even if it feels like a race sometimes, because and it's toxic, it's very cutthroat. Like you feel like you're, like you said, even we'll see, we're doing such great things, meaning, and then we'll see our peers, and we're like, are we doing enough? Do you feel like we should just not race, like kind of just take it step
Yeah.
by step, and like we'll get there eventually, right? If we really want it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I still think like if your
why do
goal,
you think there's a race? Like, that's what I've been wanting to ask you too, because you've been around a long time too. Like, what's this? Like, I feel it. Like, I gotta get it. I gotta get on that. I gotta make it. I gotta make them know my name. I gotta make them know that I'm hilarious every single time. And you're right. It's like, but even sometimes Chris D'Elia will bomb. Leslie Jones will bomb.
yeah.
It's
I think
just,
it comes down to just wanting that badge of you're doing okay. And
yeah.
it's like until someone says like you're doing okay, it's like we're gonna be hungry for that. And I don't feel like, yes, I've had moments of you're doing well and like, the numbers somewhat show online and like just my experience of tour, like no one can take that away from me. And that's like, okay, you're really doing this comedy thing, like you're on the path, but it's like I want that next thing for me to just be able to like sit and take a deep breath and be like, okay, I'm doing it. But it's like I do think we're all hungry for that. Again, it's like you're gonna get it and then you're gonna be hungry again. But I think we all need these nuggets along the way of like you're doing it, you're doing it, you're doing
Like
it.
validation, right? When we
Yeah,
shouldn't even need it from anyone. We should
yeah,
really get it from ourselves, honestly.
that's true on it. But I do think you would give it to yourself once you get the things that you feel like you deserve or want.
Yeah, that was beautifully said. It really is true. And I think it's like you said, being self-aware. And that's what also I talk about, mental health and taking care of yourself and understanding, take feedback you want and not, like, decipher. Like for you, for example, like I love your material. Honestly, you speak to me very relatable. What inspires you, I guess? Like what are the things you want to talk to us about that you usually talk about and said, and how do you like craft the joke? Are you writing it?
Yeah.
Is it from your, because of personal, you also use a lot of self-deprecating and personal experience, you
Yes,
know
big part of it. I mean, I think you have to be able to laugh at yourself first. I mean, I know they say like it's a crutch to do that stuff, but I do think once you level the playing field of like, I'm just like you, like, yeah, I'm on the stage with the microphone, but like I'm no better than you. And I like to kind of disarm myself. And then a lot of it's, I mean, I'm sure, like you said, it's relatable to you. It's like I'm single and my friends are all having kids. And it's like, I kind of like that I'm taking this path separate. Like I'm kind of like the traditional white picket fence is like so been done. I'm like, boo. And I'm like, how do we shed light on like how goofy some of this stuff is? Like a lot of my jokes are about like my friends having kids and they're not saying the name. And I'm like, well, is it a racial slur? Like just kind of poking holes in like the things that we're so quick to be like gender reveals are so ridiculous. Like let's make fun of gender reveals or like the fact that we all grew up with shows like 16 and Pregnant or I didn't know I was pregnant and we're all supposed to just be cool with getting pregnant. Like that's crazy to me. Like we were traumatized. And it's like I just think there's so much humor in like just everyone's living this like not everyone, but like zooming out on the United States, it's like you grow up, you get married, you have kids, and it's like, can someone ring the alarm bells on this, please? So we all don't feel like we're not succeeding if we don't have the house and the husband. So,
Thank you.
right. So I think a lot of my comedy comes from that perspective and just trying to shed a light on that and make it funny. And it's like, dating is hilarious. It's hard. It's like it's like anything that we all experience, I like to bring, little jokes about. So I think a lot of my set currently is dating, just like shedding light on like the nuances of like I'm not getting married, but all my friends are having kids. I have a lot of jokes about my friends having kids, that experience, being an aunt, watching kind of it all kind of happen around me where I'm kind of just watching it like the kid at recess, just like watching them all play, being like, I don't even know if I want to play that game. And then I went sober for a year. So a
Right.
lot of I talk about drinking because I have this lens of like the sober girl, the party girl, and it's like now I'm kind of back to drinking. So I've found myself in some unique scenarios, like meeting that deaf guy and then ultimately dating him, and then it ended. So it's like I have like 5 minutes on that experience. So it's like I just have a lot of these goofy life experiences that I'd like to story tell a little bit, or just little things that don't normally happen, or yeah, that's kind of mostly, yeah. And then like I have like the observational jokes of like, we have AI and we can chat to a robot like he's your best friend, but for blind people, we're just like, here's a stick. It's like
Right.
shedding a light on like ridiculous stuff like that. I'm like, really? That's our solve for the blind? A stick or a dog? I'm sorry, that's insane. We need to fix it. So
I love that you go, and that's the thing also is like I love that you go there because comedy's become sensitive and woke and I'm me, I'm also edgy too. And sometimes I gotta, sometimes that's why I don't, and now I know why we don't want people filming our stuff because they'll be edgy and maybe it'll offend someone, but it's so true and funny that the whole crowd will laugh. Do you ever feel sometimes like, so when you're writing, how do you decipher, is this going to offend or not? I mean, do we know? We just try it out.
you
Like,
write it and you try it. And it's so funny
how do you
bringing
feel about that culture? Like silencing and not, you know,
I mean, I have a joke that's pretty edgy where I
mhm.
say if I'm gonna do a gender reveal, like I'm gonna make it creative. Like I'm going to Taco Bell, I'm getting a crunch wraps, like
Yeah, I love that
I'm gonna
one.
dive
That is
inside
so
there, I'd
good.
be like, it's an abortion. And
It's so
that's thank you. That's one of my edgier jokes. And a lot of times I hold it close to my chest. Like in audiences, like if I'm featuring and I feel like maybe their crowd isn't, in tune with that. Like Emma Willman's crowd, I was like, I don't know if they're gonna be open to this, but they loved it. And then I even told it at Natalie's show, and someone came up to me at the end of the night and was like, that was one of my favorite jokes of the night. And I'm like, that is crazy that you would just watch host feature full set and that is one of the jokes that stood out to you at the end of the show. Like that means a lot. And it's like that's one of those jokes that I'm like, I don't know, but like it does so well, and people literally bring it up to me. I've had people message me about it, and I
oh
posted it
yeah.
on my Instagram. It's like I have a day job; they can all watch it. If I get fired over a joke, then you know what? That'll just push me into comedy. It's like, obviously I pray that never happens, and
Right, because we got to play bills.
I'm so lucky to have a job that's open to me being a stand-up. But that is a huge fear in when I share things online of like I say the F word a lot, or like I say an edgy joke, I bring up abortion, I bring up, topics that, you know,
Are
I
real.
I have a joke that I really want to put out. I put on YouTube and it got like 24,000 views on my shorts. So I know it's like someone likes it, but I'm basically like, look, I know we're not allowed to say the F word like that anymore. I'm like, don't be a cunt, It's like I know that's a crazy word, but like I don't know. I put it on YouTube and it seemed to do well. So it's like, but that's a joke where I'm like, maybe don't put that on your Instagram, Tori. Like your aunt follows you. And
Or like, but you would see, like, even if you went further with them, like the con, and then like, but I call my mom that and she's fine. And it's like, that's edgy and funny. And you should
yeah,
write that. But it's like, I get what you're saying. It's like, that could have been literally a viral clip that changed everyone's world. And it's like
TikTok
not
didn't push it
fair.
out at all. TikTok was like, fuck off.
Really?
Yeah.
Are really 11 a.m.
It's a
try,
little
by
bit of
the way,
a,
algorithm, 11 a.m. start posting and tell me what you think. 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. on TikTok is the
okay.
secret.
Okay.
Just try to post your clips, your especially your stand-up ones, because you have such good ones. And
Thank you.
so I feel like, and I love them. I literally watch your clips and over. And it's not just because you're my friend and I'm biased. You know that I have friend, it's I think you're really funny and I think you're really witty as a writer. So it's hard to write the analogies of like the taco. That's my whole point is like when you know a good comic is they say the relatability of life, they set you up, and then you're telling an analogy that makes the joke even funnier. You're like, oh shit, I know what she's talking about. That's hilarious.
Thank you. I do love analogies very
I
much.
love that. That's your thing. I feel like that's your thing, the joke. Talking about like Natalie Cuomo, obviously good friend of both of ours, hilarious, amazing, so kind. Shout out to her. She's also
So
one of the
kind.
ones that taught me like be yourself. Her and Leslie Jones were very like, I don't give a shit what anyone says. You
I
know you're
love Leslie
funny.
Jones. I just
She's
watched her.
amazing, by the way. You
I
have
just
to.
I watched her full interview on Vulture because she ripped on Tony Hinchcliffe in that clip. So I was like, I need to see the whole thing. And I watched the whole thing. She's a legend.
Legend.
Yeah.
And she's for women. Like one of these days, God willing, I'm putting this in the world that you and me both go on the road with her and open for her because she has women's back so bad. One time I did the Ned with her.
Uh-huh.
And she said even to me, Chanel, because she was nervous because it's like the members only models, rich
Right.
men vibe, celebrity vibe. And she's still a real comic like us. They don't give a shit about that stuff. So the room was high pressure, high stakes. And my jokes were good. Like the girls were laughing, but it was like the guys weren't. And then you have the bookers who are like snooty.
Mhm.
Leslie comes right after me. He's like, fuck all of you. This girl, you should have given her more credit. She's funny and you're dumb. And then they all started laughing because Leslie Jones is. So what I'm
Yeah.
saying is I love that about her, that she can really call out and then go into her joke set and make
Mhm.
it really funny. I'm just saying, like, you're right. You have to be unapologetically yourself and try the joke. Is it hard with your job or like they're supportive? Like, that's what I'm
They're
saying. Like,
supportive. Yeah, no,
okay,
I
so
mean,
that's good.
yeah, some of them have been to shows, but it's just with posting online, it's like a big company. Like we've got offices all over the country, like LA,
Right,
Chicago, Dallas. So it's like, and I work with car dealers as well. So like,
right.
it's not just who I work with, it's then all the men and like women that I also, mostly men in dealerships. So it's like, they're a little more conservative. And like some of them I've told that I do stand up and they think it's the coolest thing ever. Like one of them asked me to perform at like his outdoor music festival. And I was like, no, Bradley,
So cool.
cannot do that. Outdoor comedy is not the move. So I have some that are like very supportive of it, but then others I get a little like I don't tell them because I don't want them to see something and be offended by it. So it's really just like a fine line of like I just hope no one Googles me if they might have a problem with me, but the ones that have seen it, they're quite supportive. So like I met with one of my dealers recently and we were talking like I'm like, how are sales? And he's like, let's talk about your comedy. Okay. He's like, you gotta post online. He's like, what
I
it's
love,
yeah,
I love it. He's like your manager. He's like, listen, baby, I'll invest in you.
literally.
But those are the good that's where the network's at. And a lot of comics ask me too, like, because I have like access to publicity from the reality game. And I say as a comedian, that's how you're gonna make it even more. When you're funny, of course you got the talent, but it's the exposure, marketing.
Yeah.
So that's good to network because you never know who's that person that might say, hey, Tori, I'm gonna take you on and I'm gonna just give you the money or access and you're gonna, run with it. So that's really cool. I love that. I say, do you think the advice to comics is find a job if you can that does support if you really want to do
Yes.
comedy? Because I feel like
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking for too. It's like find something that you can pay your bills, but also supports it so you don't feel so
Yeah.
torn, right?
Pay your bills. And then like I'm very lucky with my hours. Like right
Hmm.
now we're in our meeting season, so it's a little crazy. Like I've had to travel a lot for my day job, but when we're not traveling to like the dealerships or in our planning season, it's pretty like 9 to 5. You go, you get your job done, and then you're done.
Oh,
So
that's great.
it's great. Like I feel like I have many hours in the day that aren't just like day job. It's like there are some days, weeks where I'm like comedy has to take a back seat, but there are also some weeks where I'm like I'm all focused on comedy right now and my day
Oh,
job
yeah.
is like do the work and get out.
That's what I'm saying. That's great, right? Because comedy
Yeah.
is such a full-time work, and it's so stressful as it is that it's amazing, right, to do
Mhm.
both. Um, is there any other major comics that you want to open up for that you haven't, that you or tour with or work with?
I mean, I've always looked up to like Nikki Glazer, Taylor Tomlinson,
Yeah.
even Amy Schumer. Like I used to watch all of her old late night sets back when she first started. I think she's very funny. I really look up to her. I mean, I would work with anyone that I think is funny. Like, I mean, Kevin Hart, I think is brilliant.
Oh,
Bill Burr,
brilliant.
like, it would be a dream come true, really. And I feel lucky just to work with anyone. Like, my friend Matt Ross is touring now, and I feel
Yeah.
lucky that I was with him. I hosted for him at the City Winery at the Loft this year, and then I went to Indiana with him. So like anyone that's willing to say, "Hey, you're funny," I'll share my stage with you. Like that's the biggest compliment ever. So I'll work with anyone in that next level that's willing to share with me. So it's yeah.
I
Um,
love that. You're so humble, and that's the way to go. I think it's amazing how you are. Honestly, with
yeah.
your whole headspace is just so healthy. It's very healthy, and that's how we have to think to get through this crazy life in general. I mean, in terms of material comedy, what are the goals you have and that you want to kind of put out there for us to follow? Like,
I just want to keep writing funnier jokes. I mean, it's funny. It's like I had this Jeep Wave joke that got like 3 million views on Instagram. It did really well. It's my biggest, it's to this day, it's like if it's all failing, I'm like, all right, Jeep Wave joke. So I want like 10 more of those. And it's so crazy when you have a joke that like works every time. Like it's a crowd pleaser. They're gonna laugh. It's like okay, now keep writing them. So it's like I wrote that during the pandemic when I bought a Jeep Wrangler and I told my mom and she laughed out loud. I told the guy I was dating at the time and he was like mad at me for some reason. So like nothing was making him smile and he cracked a smile at that. So I was like, we got something. So I'm like, bitch, you wrote that in 2020. Let's get another killer.
right, but then that it does inspire you though when those killers work. It does inspire me too. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what, Chanel, now you can write. Now you have the
Yes.
confidence. But when you
So
bomb, of course, it discourages you like anyone. I
yeah.
mean,
No, the goal though right now with comedy is to have just back-to-back Jeep Wave level jokes.
yeah.
Share them online. I really want to grow online because that's how you get ticket sales, that's how you get management. That's kind of how the wheel works these days. So keep the podcast going. That's another big goal. Just, keep that going and just wait for something to land in my lap, I guess. I mean, I'd love to do a don't tell film set. That's kind
Yes.
of like the next, like you're doing it, or any sort of filmed set. I like with OnlyFans, they're doing them now, so I've submitted for that a few times. Just any
Something and like special. Are you feeling like a lot of people have a thing where, I was talking to you, like, of course I had to reschedule my special because it's a lot of work and working on it. But a lot of comics will say, "Oh, you're not ready for a special," or there's a time. Do you feel that way, or kind of like, do you like
I
put the
mean,
special if you want to put the special out? That's what
yeah,
I think.
you've been in the game 10 years. You're due, I'd say, for a special. I don't think
Yeah,
there's
even
nothing
30
like
minutes. I mean, I can't do
yeah,
30 minutes. What
no,
am I, a fucking brain surgeon here?
yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
operating on
No,
you guys?
I think you need to push for that to get back.
Unbelievable here,
But did they give
Tori.
you a new date for that?
Yeah, we might do it in March. Honestly, I might
Okay.
want you to do some time on it.
I'd be
So we're
honored.
gonna, yeah, we're gonna talk because like I need like a good host or opener. We have like someone just doing 10 minutes because he's the
Mhm.
executive producer and he does
Okay.
comedy. But like the
You want to
special,
crack them open. You want to rip them open so that
that's
when
what
you
I'm
walk on
saying.
stage, they're like,
And I
yeah,
want another woman that's just fucking phenomenal like you. And you
I'm
know
gonna,
me, we have just chemistry and like yeah, but you know how it is. It's like you want to prepare, you want to plan. You don't want 30
yes.
people at your special, you
No,
want 100, 200. It's going to be at the
yeah.
cutting room. So, but I think you should even do one too, like work on 30 minutes, 40 minutes for whether it's YouTube. I honestly, if I
Totally.
didn't sell it, I'm going to put it on YouTube
Yeah, no, I mean, everyone's doing YouTube.
or Patreon, right? So you
Yeah,
get the sales and
yeah, no, Ian Lara just put his on YouTube and he was shopping it for a long time. So, I mean,
wow,
yeah,
really?
so I think it's
See,
like
that's crazy. Like,
get the views, you still get all of it. So I think it's like actually a really big place for specials. So, and again, it's like it goes on your TV. it doesn't matter what you clicked on to get there, it's like,
Right.
who gives a fuck? I mean, obviously it'd be so cool if you clicked on Netflix first, but like, you know what? If you have to click on YouTube first, who gives a shit? Like, it's all there. It's all the same thing. It still looks great. It's
Exactly.
all about the production value, what it looks like, and how are the jokes. Like, that's what it comes down to. So, yeah, I think that
That's awesome. How was it, by the way? So, Natalie Cuomo went viral, obviously. How is it to go back to that, like opening up for her? Like, that must be like
she's
so
the
cool.
kindest person and
So
so
kind.
easygoing, like
Love
no
her.
drama. Yeah, I've been really lucky just to see her, the way she works, and her fans are just really devout. They're kind, they laugh, they listen, they're respectful. Yeah, we drove to Boston together for those shows this summer. And so it was, 5 hours up, 5 hours back in the car. And we just, the whole way, we're yapping, just really just, we clicked immediately. And I think it's like us. It's like we're women in comedy. We're fighting the good fight. We're doing the same shit. We're like all in the same boat essentially. So, and it feels sometimes like we're on an island when we're not with each other.
Yeah.
That when you connect, you're like, oh, I'm not crazy. I've just chosen a unique path that once I find someone else that's on the path, I'm like, no, this path rules. It's so fun. We picked a great path, but sometimes when you're marching it alone, you're like, is there a bear coming to eat me? Like,
Yeah. Like, am I
yeah,
a survivor? Am I on this island alone?
yeah, I'm like, I need bear spray and a knife. Like, it's not safe. But if
Literally.
you have a friend with you, you're like skipping and it's fun. And it's like anytime I'm with her or you or anyone in
Yeah.
orbit, I'm like, this rules.
Yeah, we got to do a threesome because I love you and her. Really,
Yes.
honestly, favorite people. Also, Corinne and Corinne Fisher and Christina Hutchinson. Shout out to them. And Chloe LeBranch. Like, I gotta say, the five of you as women in this industry have been the kindest, nicest, coolest, so open-hearted and sharing like I've never seen. I'm so grateful. I have to call you guys out because it's amazing to see. And it just shows what kind of people you are. Like, that's
Yeah.
my point, is like you'll never lose it because you'll always get up and up and up because look who you are. Like, I want to know your opinion on like, and I don't want to like put obviously any female or any male comedians down, but like the comedians, let's say there's some younger ones that won't really be on our side or won't will kind of sabotage. What do you think that all comes from with the I always say like comedy, like I told you we're working on a movie, comedies like high school. What is
Yeah.
this whole like sabotaging behind our backs, the things that people don't the ugliness? What do you think that comes from?
I mean, that just comes from insecurities and their own demons. And I mean, we've all been burned or hurt or had someone say something to us behind our back or about
Mhm.
us. Or, I mean, I'm very much an open book and I've shared close, intimate things with people that have had it come back out to like bite me in the ass. And it's like, you just take it as a lesson of like, oh, maybe don't share that information and or be careful with who you're sharing it with. And if someone does tell you something like, that's not a free for all, just pass it along. It's like I like to think I'm like a lockbox when someone tells me something because, in this game, it's like we're all so close, so you kind of let your guard down, but then you'll realize quickly like who, when, and where to share these things with, or not at all. So I think when people are mean or backstabbing, it's just a reflection on them. And I do think it comes around and the truth always comes out and the reality of who these people are. And I just think it's like they have to live with what they've done or who they've hurt, and that's on them. And I think they must be hurting as well to make people feel less than or put them down. So
Right.
you're gonna be a mirror to what you feel. And I've learned this I where like sometimes someone will just make me feel uncomfortable. And I'll talk to someone else being like, oh, like I was with so and so, I felt a little bit like this. And they're like, oh, I kind of feel that way too. And it's like, oh, okay. Like it's not a unique experience. And if they're making you feel a certain way,
They're
they're
making everyone feel a certain.
and I'm sure they feel that way times 10. So it's like you're always just gonna kind of like get the energy you give. And so that's why I always try to greet people, you know, it's like we're all in the same industry. It's like light up when someone walks in and say hi. Like
Yeah.
it's so hard. It's like if you don't turn to someone and say hi to them, especially if they've said hi to you, like I've had that happen to me where like they just like won't give me the time of day. And it's like that feeling sticks with you and it really sucks. And it's like having gone through that, it's like I'll make sure that no matter who this person is or what they're going through, it's like I want to be like, hi, great to see you.
Yeah.
It's so easy for me to do. And even if I'm faking it, I suddenly feel excited to see them, you know?
I love that. Yeah, you helped me with that a lot. Like, even though I'm such a friendly, I love people, but I've learned in the industry with our industry to like, if I put it out there, it's going to be easier for me. I'm going to be more at peace. I'm going to be, but you're right. Like, do you think it would affect the sabotage will ever affect your career if you're really good? Because it's such a small industry. Or standing
No.
up for yourself. Do you think, how do you feel? The audience wants to know, like, how do you feel about standing up for yourself when it's kind of taboo to stand up for yourself? Because then that, standing up for yourself in any type of media, right? It could be a negative thing because that's when people call you dramatic or they don't want to deal with it. But how do you kind of maneuver? How would you
I
maneuver through
mean,
that?
I've never had to quote unquote like stand up for myself because I've never had to like protect something that went wrong. I mean,
Right.
like I think it's like if you have to get
Like,
aggressive or fight for something, it's like, well, what's the reality here? So I think always like no matter what's going on, it's like stay calm.
mm-hmm.
Try to give them the benefit of the doubt, whether like they said something that you had shared with them that like they spun or they said that, out of context. It's like, well, maybe they were trying to look cool or like maybe they were trying to, get ahead. It's like, and that's their insecurities using me or, there's certain scenarios where it's like I have been hurt and it's like, well, why did they do that? And then also, only person that's hurting right now is me. They don't know that I've, been hurt by them or they don't know that I know this. It's like, it's like learn to set a boundary and then stage left, like get out of there. Like I'm not getting burned again. Sorry. So
Yeah.
it's like a game of Pac-Man. It's like just stay away. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't like it, I'll be over
yeah.
here. Like I don't need your drama. I like to
Yeah.
be drama free. I'm usually like the calm in the storm. I don't like
You
feeding.
are.
I love to watch. I love to witness. I love to give my advice, but I don't want to be in the tornado. I'll be the eye
Right.
of the storm, but don't put me in your shit. I don't want to be in anyone's shit. Keep me out of it.
Right. And then we're talking about also like saying yes to things, but also like saying no to things. How does it, because you have like, you're managing a big club, you're a big comic, you work with a lot of big comedians, big clubs. Is it hard for you if people ask you for favors or to get stage time? Like, how do you manage to be like a boss, but also you're so one of the nicest, kindest people? Like, I really want to learn from you, like, how to become like where it's like you're professional, but you don't have to be mean about it when you say
Yeah, I mean,
no, like, hey, you
a
can't do
lot.
the show.
Yeah, I
I'm so
face
sorry.
a lot. Managing Greenwich, everyone's always like, how do I get stage time? I'm like, I'm happy to put you in contact with who I know. I
Mhm.
cannot change the lineup and I will not change the lineup. That is the rules of the club. If I change lineups, I will no longer be here. And that's kind of like a clean boundary that no one has pushed back on. So that's an easy one. And then running my own show, I get a lot of DMs like, I want to do your show. And I always say like, thanks for the interest. That means a lot. It's monthly and I also take long breaks. So it's really backlogged with a lot of my friends and IOUs, but I'll definitely keep you in mind for the future. One guy offered to host and no one
Mhm.
has done that. So I was like, you're on the next one to host. So thank you for even offering that. Again, I had to cancel my December one, unfortunately.
Right.
And January, Feb are tough months. So I might take a pause on January and then bring it back Feb. But again, it's like I hate, that I have this backlog. It's like I want to get my friends and I love running it, but it really just comes down to ticket sales, which as you know, it's not easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. And by the way, but your show is killing it at the stand. It's one of the hottest shows. Honestly, I love it. Like, I can't wait, God willing, to be part of it. I think February is such a sick month because it's like love month.
Yeah.
But it is hard. Like, the stand is one of the popular. I used to do shows there all the time, sell out. But it was
Mhm.
hard, and they help you. And even if you do it yourself, I get what you're saying. It depends on ticket sales. It's not as easy to be like, hey, my show every month is I can put you on. It's
Yeah.
not realistic. Like, it's
No,
really, it has a lot
it's
of
not.
logistics. And it's
And
really for you. The show's about the reason you're doing the show is for you to have this stage time too,
and just to get in there and just be a
Yeah.
part. I love hanging out there. I feel more a part of the crew when I have a show that I run there. That way it's not like, what is she doing here? You
Yeah.
always want to feel included, and I think that's part of my way of feeling like I'm in with the crowd. And just kind of being like, no, yeah, I belong here to a certain degree. We all have our own like devils on our shoulder, like you shouldn't be there unless you're booked. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's again, if they're your genuine friends and you mean well and you're just there to connect with people, like then there's no harm in that. So
I love that. And also, it's like one thing I also learned being around you is so positive is that like anything can change for the better in any moment. I think you taught me that. Like, really anything. One person could hate you one day and the next minute you're doing great and they're like, that Tori, that Chanel. We love it. So thank you for always keeping like my spirits up because it's a tough industry, man. And I don't know how to, honestly, you're the best person to come on to articulate it. Sometimes I don't know how to answer the audience. I don't know how to express it because I'm so in it. It's tough, because
Well, thank you.
you're emotional. So you're like, you don't know how to, I'm working on it. I tell my audience all the time, I'm working in therapy about it. It's very hard.
It is, but it's like every day, it's like one day at a time.
One day at a
One
time.
day, what did I learn yesterday that I could apply today? So, I mean, I'm not perfect, that's for damn sure, but I do think if you approach things with like just working to be there, it's like I always walk in a room like, it's like as if you don't belong there, but in like a humble way of like, let me see how I can move in this room and like, connect. And I love people. That's
Me
something that
too.
like I'm like a dog. I'm like I like food and car rides and people. And if I approach life and like anyone I'm around like that, it's usually well received because it is genuinely me. It's like
Yeah.
I don't want anything. I'm just here to have fun, have a good laugh, make a connection, go home and sleep. That's really all I care about.
Do you think that's the way to go? Like, I was gonna ask you too, like, do you comics ever ask a lot, should we reach out if we want stage time? Is that annoying? Or do you feel like it's a kind of a happy balance when you, like you said, when you're around, you're not asking for anything, you're just truly having fun. People will ask you to do it?
Yeah, being around is number one. I think, especially if you're going to support a show,
Hmm.
like I've definitely done that where someone will come hang at a show and I'm like, oh, like I got a guest spot available if you want to do five. I do that all the time. If there's room on the lineup or like I'm like, thanks for hanging out. Like I'll get you on the next one. So I do think just being around and being genuine is number one. I think asking is fine, but I do think it depends on who you are and
Hmm.
where you're at.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
I mean, I think I told you the story about Adrienne LaPalucci. She did a show once, and I was rock, paper, scissoring for a spot on the show because there was a space in the show, and it was my friend's show. And she saw us doing that, and she goes, "I don't." She goes, "I'll do less time if you guys both want to do time." And I was like, "That's so kind." I messaged her after. I said, "That was so sweet of you. Thank you for offering." I ended up losing, so I didn't get a stage. I didn't get a spot. But she goes, "Look, it's a numbers game. Like, ask for stage time. Like, DM people." And have I done that? No. But I do think if you're a fan of a show, you've supported it for a long time and you've waited for the right moment or you feel like you're ready, then send a message and just say, also offering to host is always a great way to get anywhere, everyone's always like, that's work. I'd love if
Yeah, I love host. As you know, I'll always host. I love hosting. I don't. I think there's also a very big magic to it, a
Mhm.
secret sauce to it. You can, and yes, there's a secret sauce of doing regular time, but I think doing both is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's why I do my shows too because I need to sometimes host and like have the time. But I think you're honestly the mentality is so inspiring today for me. I'm on a new high. I'm on another
Oh,
level, man.
good. That means a lot.
I'm on another level. Like, who do I think I am? A rapper? Like, we have to go down. I gotta take your ass to Little Sister. I'm hooking up the night
I'm
in New York
there.
City
I'm
nightlife.
there.
I am taking you out. We are dancing. We are VIPing. We are
When,
VIPing all over.
when, one
Uh,
Thursday, you have
yes.
my.
I can't wait. So is this like it's an exclusive party, obviously invite only.
Yeah,
Um,
well, only because the space is limited. I need to
yes.
reach out and see what the deal is because
I am so excited.
I'm a one come all. Like I want everyone, but
Oh my
also
God.
I don't.
No pun intended, like
But I have to email them because I would love if it was just like a Project X, like tell
yeah.
everybody. But because I never want anyone to feel excluded. That's like my biggest thing.
No, I know. That's what I was gonna say to you.
Ever.
Like, how did you ever get away from the like couple of tips of like not always being a people pleaser? Because I was not kind of I was raised that way because it does give me pure joy to make people happy. I don't know. It just gives me pure like to make you smile. I don't need anything out of it. I'm just happy.
Mhm.
But any tips of like not like how to also like put yourself first sometimes and not always please people?
Well, something that like holds me accountable to these moments where it's like, let's say I don't invite someone. It's like, well, have I texted them in the last 3 days? Like, are they my go-to phone call if I'm in a ditch? It's like, if it's no, then it's like, well, then they also would probably feel the same way about me, and they're not gonna be like, how dare they? It's like,
That's such a good way.
just a
Yes.
reminder. Yeah, it's like I do it with weddings too. Sometimes where if I'm not invited, it's like, well, if I had a wedding, I would invite them. So let's check yourself. Like, I don't need to be
Right.
everywhere. So. I also love the saying, if you have a problem with me, text me. If you don't have my number, you don't have a problem with me.
Tori, you better get that shit on a t-shirt and sell it tomorrow. I fucking love that.
Someone
That
told me
is
that.
so
I can't
true.
take credit, but it
Okay,
is
but that's true.
beautiful, right? Isn't that
It's
good?
beautiful. Yeah. So you think you don't always have to confront somebody all the time?
No,
Especially if you know that, like what you said, if they're not your closest friend, if it's not going to change, if it's
yeah. Also, if someone wants to come, come. It's like it's like I literally got a little section of a bar,
I'm
and I
so
was like,
excited.
"You guys come," but also like, if someone were to text me the next few days, be like, "What are you doing on Thursday?" I'd be like, "Get your little ass over here." You know?
Get your ass. Oh, no, but I'm so excited. Thank
I'm
you
just
for the
gonna
invite.
Oh my God, of course.
I
Let me.
feel honored. Anything we could look forward if you want to plug any tour dates, any shows we right, sorry, any shows we could come
I'm like,
see you at this week. I'm like, where did I go? Shit, I scare myself sometimes. I think I swear to God, I'm one of those that I will magically make myself disappear one day and I don't know how it'll be. And Tori's gonna be like, where's my friend, you guys?
oh my God,
Where is she? You
I
are
brought
that
friend
friend.
in.
You're gonna be that friend that's gonna like Gone Girl. You're gonna take everyone from the
I'll
neighborhood and you'll be
find
like,
you.
we're gonna fucking find her. She
Mhm.
is I love her and we're finding her. I don't care. But where can everyone
Yes.
yeah, talk to us about anything coming
Well,
up.
follow me on Instagram at Torey Cole, ToreyCole. I will be keeping my podcast rolling, Tori's Stupid Podcast. Chanel's episode is dropping on Monday. The next tour date that I can think of is I'm going to open for Natalie Cuomo in Philly at the Helium on Tuesday, January 13th.
Amazing. And then they could go, people can go on Helium's website to
Yes.
buy tickets. Chanel in the
Mhm.
City audience, go support my two favorite female comedians. And they're really my close friends. They're amazing. You're gonna have a great time. Check them out. Check Tori out. Tori, do you have a website coming out soon?
I have a website, there's nothing on it, but I had a blog. There's a lot of blog posts on it that I should bring back, but it's toreycole.com. It's like a Dear Diary. It's
Yes, I
like
love that. You are such a good writer. You guys have to check it out. It really is so witty. You know what it reminds me of? Honestly, like I love Lena Dunham, but it reminds me of like a better like the 2.0 of Lena Dunham meets Lisa what's her name from Insecure? How something oh my God, I'm like blanking out on her name, but she's amazing. They're both like writers, comedians, and actors. Do you think we're gonna see some acting from you?
I would love to. I mean, we have a sketch that
We
we
have a sketch coming
back in the
and a
day.
movie I'm working on, you guys, and you're gonna be
Yes.
in it, and there's gonna be a lot of comedian. Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
would
just
love
think
to.
there's an easy transition from comedians to
I
acting.
think so. I drove back from Maryland today and I was, when you're in the car for a long time, I also took an Adderall, I'm prescribed, but I was doing I
Yeah,
was
kids, don't do it at home unless you're not.
I was creating a new life in my head and I was like, I should act. And then I was like, I think I could be a really good actor if I was playing like myself, like those actors that like
Totally.
fill the role and they're always that role. I'm like, I think I could nail the role of like me, which is totally cheating, but
No, it's not. You know, in one-on-one acting, that's what they say. It's like it's just being an actor, being yourself in certain that makes the
yes.
best actresses. That's why I think comedians are kind of the better actors because yeah, they're always themselves in the role, so it makes it just more relatable.
Yeah, like Alana from
Broad City?
yes, Broad City. Like
Yes.
they're amazing. I think they're themselves, they're goofy, they're funny, and like
Yeah.
great actresses. So
Yeah. I love it. And yeah, hopefully you guys, Chanel in the City audience, stay tuned to me and Tori Cole because we're gonna have a lot of collaborations in the future. And I'm just so proud of you. I'm happy to be your friend. I'm honored to have you on this podcast. You're
no,
one of the best human beings and funniest, hilarious, talented people I've ever met in my life. Not just being biased or blowing smoke up your ass. You know how much I feel about you. I love you so much. Like,
that means a lot. I feel the
really.
same way. I feel so
Thank
lucky.
you.
Thank you for
Oh, two more questions. One is dating tips. So, being a female comedian, always being
Mhm.
busy, any dating tips you have for our audience in the city, even though it's the
My
hardest thing?
first off the top of my head is don't. But
Yes.
if you're gonna do it, I do really think meeting organically is a great way. I know that like we're busy, but I do feel like with dating apps, I think they might be a little dead. I feel like people that met their person on Bumble, it's like they got the last life raft from the Titanic, and the ships have sunken. There's nothing good left. I just dated two men this year from Bumble. And it started off great, and then it just was like carnage. So I just think if you are going to meet someone on the dating apps, really get to know their back history, who they are, what they're all about, because it's hard to get to know someone, especially when you pluck them out of thin air. So that's tip number one. If you do date online, really get to know them. Take your time, go slow, ask a lot of questions, and be yourself. And then also just like for if you're not going to be on the dating apps, just like go outside. Like that's another dating
Oh,
tip.
yeah.
Go out, just be out and be open. Get off your fucking phone
Yes.
file at the bar. Get off your fucking phone, look around, be fun, have fun, and also have fun with yourself first. And the right person would be attracted to that energy. Don't be the desperate girl in a slutty outfit, drooling in the corner, trying to find a man, scratching your neck. So,
Yeah, or home wrecking other people's relationships with your
no,
big breasts. Don't get,
literally, dating advice is have fun with yourself first
yeah.
and know that you only get happiness from yourself because let's say you do start dating someone, if they're your source of joy, boo, because that's not going to last. And also, you don't want that insecurity of not being able to, make yourself happy first. So that's number one. And then if you do add someone, keep it fun, take your time, get to know them, go slow.
Great advice. Love that. What do you say to the women out there who still are in love with their exes or just had issues, like not a great ending, a breakup, and then they see them engaged or moved on with a new girl that they feel is like, we all get insecure better, or why would they not, why wasn't I not enough? They are, I feel like you have a good grasp on that.
I mean, I've been through that a lot. I just think falling in love with your own life will help you move on from that. So if you don't love your life or where you're at currently, go to the gym, get a new haircut, get your nails done, get a hobby. Like really pour yourself into your life and you won't be scrolling. Again, also mute them or block them. Number
Mm.
one, forget they exist. Seeing their shit will only make it worse. So that's rule number one of an ex. Block, 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 move
And
on.
do not make up Finsta accounts. Trust me, I know.
No,
It doesn't help.
don't do that. It's torturing yourself. Nobody wins. So
Okay.
first, just cut off any visibility and then pour yourself so hard into your own life, your own friends, your own family, and what you love and fall in love with yourself, not to be corny. And you're gonna just forget and move on. And then the right person will come into your life and you're gonna be like, I can't even believe I liked that loser. Because you're all gonna be blown up, that you're gonna get the next best thing that's just 10 levels up, and you're just not even gonna think twice about the last guy.
I love that. That is great advice. That is amazing.
I believe you.
And our last question of the podcast is, where in Chanel and City audience wants to know, where in the city do you like to go eat, drink,
Oh,
just escape? Like you said, also, by the way, you took me to a real cool ass bar that had a lot of hot guys. So you were right. Go outside, guys, because you don't know who you're gonna meet.
yeah, not to blow up, my favorite area, but Lower East Side is where it's at. It's calm and cozy in the morning. When you want to go for a coffee walk, it's quiet. And then
Yeah.
there's so many bars, so many restaurants, vintage shops, gyms. There's Pilates studios, there's little fitness studios. And then, yeah, the nightlife is it's crazy. It like comes to life. I mean, at 4 a.m., you'll walk around and you're like, do they know what time it is? People are like eating pizza off the street, like just drunk girls everywhere. You're like, oh my God, go home. But it's fun. It's like a time and a place for everything down here, and it's so good. I could live and die in the Lower East Side. I shouldn't say die because I'm like,
God forbid, but I love it. God forbid.
love
No,
the
you're living
Lower
till
East Side.
120. We're living till 120. We're both gonna be like with our canes
Yeah,
and
yeah.
husbands being like,
Did we make it?
we're still gonna tell jokes. Listen, there's people that are 60, still 70, still
Love
telling
her.
jokes.
She paved the way, I'd say.
Paved the way. Yeah. No, this was you're an amazing person. I'm so excited for your success and your fame and your journey in comedy and just in general. And we're going to be long, long, long good friends for a long time. I'm not speaking English today because I literally did not
She
literally
means it.
do a Coco Loco,
Okay.
Torey Cole. Oh my God, we should do like a behind the scenes too. When we go out, oh, we're doing it together. Like, and you
And
got, yeah, you guys are going to have to check it out on the Patreon.
yes, I love
Love
this.
that. Thank you for real.